Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Trek Baja, a lower decks style Star Trek Adventures game using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are three lovely individuals who we'll meet in a moment. The only thing I'd like to say before introductions is that I do have an air show currently happening, so if any jet noise or helicopter noise or jet truck noise or just noise in general leaks through, I'll try to fix it in post, but I can only do so much. But anyways, let's get everybody introduced, then we can get this thing started. And we're going to start with Matthew. Matthew, anything you'd like to shout out and who you playing?
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew, and I am playing the Andorian helmsman Shash Chathane, who is a remarkable slacker.
Techno, same for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Techno. I am playing the Klingon science slash nurse member of the team. And yeah, hi, glad to be back.
All right. And last but not least, Bean.
I am Bean_Carbon VT. You can find me where you find my name. I am playing Marquess Bolin, who is the engineer and definitely does not cause chaos and definitely doesn't have a tiger as a Pokemon.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. But first, let's run the introduction. And welcome back. So, something I like doing for all my Star Trek Adventures games is have the players do an opening log, and I believe, Mr. Chathane, you have that honor today.
Ensign Chathane's log, stardate 58001.8. Resupply, repair, rest, recuperation, and reduced responsibilities, which is great. That's why the Baja is docked at Starbase 261. Good times were had by all. Relaxing vacay. Everyone but me, because I don't have anything that I want to do, which is normally a good thing, but not this time. Sure, there was that Parisi Square tournament, and the trip to the variable geometry warp field prototype intrepid class in Stardock. Really weird how they now flap their nacelles to fly through space. I don't get that design choice, but hey, Starfleet Corps of Engineers, you do you. Yeah, also there was that all-night water park thing with the chief science officer. Got really kind of weird when we realized he was the water. Calmirans are weird. Water and crystal held together by coherent electrical impulses. Okay, fine. I've had a good vacation. Yeah. Except for being at Starbase 261, because that means Jim. Cousin Jim. Named after James Kirk, don't you know? Oh, Shas, why can't you be more like your cousin Jim? Have you heard about your cousin Jim? Daystrom Institute Award for Outstanding Contributions by a Cadet. Cousin Jim came in 12th in the Academy Marathon. Where did you come in, son? Oh, right, you didn't even try. Visited the Academy on Earth, son? Here's a photo of Jim's name on the bloody honor roll plaque for your graduating year. Did you hear that Jim used his Enar telepathy to make first contact with a non-corporeal subspace life form? He's so gifted. I mean, they could at least come out and just say they don't want me as a son. No one consulted me about having them as parents. It wouldn't be so bad if he wasn't such an egotistical, smug prig about everything. End log.
You may have a momentum, and I want to just qualify that all that happens in the hallway bunks where you live. So, Macbeth, Bolin, you heard all of that.
Personally, I
Shash
do
just
not
sort of
find
looks
this.
over at you.
Oh,
What? What do you? Is something wrong?
personally, I
Shaz,
do not find this Jim to be as off-putting as you say he is. I find him quite pleasant.
You would think that.
Shaz, are you okay? You can find a quiet spot to do those personal logs if you're gonna get that riled up about it. I mean, I don't want you to necessarily bot them up, but unless you want to talk about that level of feelings, I don't know if you want to project them across the entire dormitory.
You know, I don't care if you listen because I don't care about your opinion of me.
Oh, okay.
I did minor in psychology and counseling at the academy.
I think you're just deflecting and just lashing out at people close to you now.
I think you're just deflecting. That's. I think we have to talk about your psychological state in relationship with your parents.
I also agree that would be a good idea.
Okay, do I have to? Is this my moment to talk about my family?
No, I am simply
I
saying that it is healthy to talk about these
Okay.
things, and you should
Okay.
schedule an appointment with a counselor to do that.
All right.
And Jess,
Cool.
Doubly so for you.
So I could be one of those like Betazoid counselors who know what you think before you tell them. So it gets to be really
I think
awkward.
our counselor's the Talarite, or is that just one of them?
I guess if you need brutal honesty in your life, that would probably be helpful.
And I'm just going to play with this and saying Macbeth is sitting with his little cupboard door open, and he's just trimming at a bonsai tree with
Ooh,
a tiny,
bonsai tree.
tiny little batleth while this conversation is going on.
Hold on. I gotta process this for a moment. Hold on. So you got a bonsai tree. I got that much, but you're telling me there's a little batleth you're using to trim this thing?
Little tiny batleth, yeah.
That is
Just
amazing. I
little
have
tiny,
another
just
momentum. Just have another momentum. That is an amazing mental image. I
I
appreciate
like to
that.
think that rather than just clipping like a little pair of like secateurs, he's just literally like cut.
That it's canon now, everybody. If Klingons do bonsai, they use little batleths. That's canon now.
Measure twice, cut once.
Exactly. Just to throw a little bit of plot your way, just so that everybody has something to build off of here. Right now, your next duty shift doesn't come for the next 6 hours, so you're again free time. When 6 hours comes along, you don't have a long duty shift. It's just a couple hours, and they're just basically moving supplies from point A to point B from the starbase to the ship. But you do have most of the day free at the moment. So I did want to put that little seed in your mind before we went any further.
Oh, wow, we got plenty of free time. Does anybody fancy any of the recognition activities that the bridge crew and station crew have put forward for us, or are we just trying to go and have our own fun?
I mean, I'm pretty much funned out when it comes to time spent with bridge crew. That whole water polo thing.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I think you know, I think he's been talked to by the counselor because of that. Being
I
the
think many
water.
people are being talked to by the counselor because of that.
Yeah, I is this like part of like why you're not feeling so good?
No. I mean, it was an honest mistake on his part. It's just
Okay, all right,
cross-cultural misunderstanding kind of
all right,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could always like go work on your ship.
Strangely, I don't feel like it.
No, you don't feel like it? Usually what you want to do on your time off is to work on the ship.
It's just not fulfilling anymore. I'm over here tinkering with an out-of-date shuttlecraft, and
Okay.
Jim, he's like working his way up to captain, which is exactly what I don't want. But because somebody else wants it, now I feel jealous. You know what that's like?
Okay.
It is healthy that you can put a name to this emotion.
I mean, fair. I
Hey,
guess.
Macbeth, what you're doing there with the little tiny tree? Did you replicate that little batleth yourself, or is that like something Klingons have? Do they cut their meat with it or something?
Oh no,
no.
I have one like this for tailoring a jar. As I pull out like this little like sort tailoring, sort of grooming kit for a targ which has little batleths in it.
I have told you that is not the intended purpose for this. This is a precision instrument for the trimming of bonsai trees.
You sure it cuts the hair really well?
Yes, it does, but it is not the intended purpose.
But
didn't batleths start out as like some kind of farming implement that was then reappropriated by Kahless into
you mean like
a weapon of war?
I'm surprised you know your history.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like a peasant uprising.
So you understand the use of this now. And he's using he's using the small curve in it just to like sort of just gently sort of strip part of the bark off.
Yeah, so it all sort of goes back to its roots. That really is kind of zen.
And it's really good for trimming split ends.
Huh. Does that work on like human Andorian Klingon goblinoid hair as well, or
I don't know what a goblinoid is in the trill, but
Chief engineer, I believe,
met
some manner of goblinoid.
Exactly.
I mean, I can give it a go. I just look at you menacingly.
Again, please do not. It is not intended for this purpose.
And just to spite him, Shas is going to sort of hop down from his upper bunk and then sit down on the edge of the lower one and show off his ponytail to Marquez. I think, like you said, a couple split ends back there. Maybe you could just take a little bit off the back.
I start cutting split ends.
All right, Bolin, first roll of the day. Let's see. Let's call this a daring and what is this? A daring security, I guess.
Daring security.
Difficulty of 1.
Okay, cool. Form task. I don't have I don't think I. Oh, etiquette.
You do have etiquette. Etiquette,
I have a focus in hair cutting. Let's go. All right. First roll of the day. 1 success.
All right, 1 success. You may do as you wish to the ponytail, but you don't accidentally cut the whole thing off, which is really what we were rolling for.
I think the key word there is accidentally.
No, I quite nicely, trim it up. It looks a bit nicer than it was. I mean, it's not like hairdresser level of dealing with it, but
Have you ever thought about transitioning into Barbary?
One of my past lives was.
No, that's not Barbary. That's not the right word. Because that's more of a Klingon thing, Barbary, or is it barbarism? Whatever.
It is neither of these things.
Jinro was one of my past lives. Did this sort of thing, but it was not because he wanted to look nice.
Sounds like there's a story there.
Oh, he was a diplomatic agent for Trill. Wink, wink.
Oh, okay. So this is one of those it's obvious he's a secret agent sort of things. Garrick.
Yeah. A diplomatic envoy to various places which Trill had diplomatic ties to. Wink, wink.
There is something unusual happening with your eye. Are you having some sort of medical seizure?
This is why Trills were able to get so far into Klingon society.
Yeah, I mean, they treat their barbers very seriously with all that hair. Look at how lustrous it is.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you are mocking me, and I cannot for the life of me work out why.
No, I'm not mocking you at all. I mean, look at that hair.
Don't worry, Amateur. You just wouldn't understand.
That really seems to go against the entire ethos of the Federation, doesn't it?
I mean, it's my past life, not my life, so I didn't have much decision making into it.
No, I just mean the whole I am Klingon, you wouldn't understand, or I am Trill, you wouldn't understand. Isn't this all about learning about each other and coming together as infinite diversity and infinite combinations sort of thing?
It's a jab at our friends' mannerisms more than an actual, statement.
Oh yeah, I got that. You were mocking him. That's great. Yeah, good job too. But I'm just saying, philosophically, if we're going to think about this issue.
Okay.
And it seems like we must.
Apparently so.
Well, look, I've got 6 hours to kill before my next duty shift.
Okay, let's go have food on the station. Go somewhere which isn't our bunks to have this philosophical discussion.
There is that Zindi reptilian restaurant.
There we go.
With the raw meat.
No.
What? You love raw meat. What's wrong with you?
Not reptilian Zindi raw meat. No.
Okay, look, they only served human once. Okay, once. It was a mistake.
That is what they said, but I do not believe them.
Mean,
Ensign Harass from sickbay, the Gorn, swears by that restaurant. He said it was great.
I mean, there's always the Ferengi deep fry restaurant. That's always a nice place.
All they have are insects.
Also, what he said was, if you eat there once, you'll never eat anywhere else again. I do not think he meant it as a compliment.
Well, he is a Gorn, so...
Very well. If this is if your heart is truly set on this, and it will help you heal from the very strong
also
feelings
that
you have
adoring
towards
curry place, which is on a deck above, which is nice. been there once when you guys decided to go. I can't remember what you guys did, but I was.
Andorian curries are too cold. They are not hot enough.
That's the point of them.
Well, we don't
Like
really
ice
have-
cream, but spicy.
We don't. The spice blends from Andoria are subtle.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yes, but they
It's
have
not-
no heat.
Well, yes, like we've
Yes.
established, there is no heat on Andoria. It's a frigid wasteland.
And so you see my problem.
Like I said, it's a spicy ice cream. I don't see a problem.
I mean, I'd be down for that. A little taste of home. But
How about we go to the canteen area and order from the restaurants we want? I mean,
Oh,
it
very
takes
well,
a bit longer for us to get to us where what food we want to get, but at least we all get what we want instead of arguing about
Macbeth
what
is going
restaurants.
to put his little batleth into a little holder underneath the bonsai and just close his cupboard. He goes, if it will help you to heal from the feelings of jealousy you have towards your cousin, then I will eat your disgusting cold curry.
that means a lot. Thanks. That gets you right here. Kind of like a duck tog, right to the. He just taps at his ribcage.
No, you would aim here. And he taps it a little bit lower and to the left.
But that on a Klingon, not an Andorian, right? You'd probably sever like a ventricle, but you wouldn't hit the heart itself.
Yes, and it would hurt more.
Okay, yeah, the death.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Yes, that's a really wonderful conversation to have.
All right, well, sounds like you're going to Andorian curry is what I heard. So let's put this in the main promenade of Starbase 261. Starbase 261 being a classic Watchtower class, which means it's kind of one of those that we've seen in DS9 towards the sort of middle/end of the Dominion War things, where they basically had the... Oh, I forget the name of the class, but basically where the Defiant used to hang out when they were away from DS9, where they had the Jem'Hadar little bug fighter that they took over. Same class of Starbase.
It's like the regular Starbase, they just turned upside down.
Pretty much, yeah. But what matters is when you get into the Cantina area and you start to head towards the Andorian curry place, is that you notice that there's a lot of activity. And let's just say the activity is because there's someone performing at one of the stages next to the eating area. And since someone in chat redeemed an evil complication,
Thanks, Shizna.
Chithane, what instrument does your cousin play? What does Jim play as an instrument?
So Jim plays the Andorian razor flute, which is both a projectile weapon and a
Projectile weapon.
don't ask me. That's what it
Also,
is. It's an energy weapon, and also a musical instrument.
Against.
All right, so apparently he's playing the razor flute. All right, that's what I got out of that. So what's going to happen is as you enter, you hear someone going ham on a razor flute, which it actually sounds kind of nice, all things considered. But there's a point where you look to where the noise is, and Chithane, you see your cousin, Jim is there, going ham. He also has someone singing Klingon opera backup, so Macbeth has something to look forward to. And then for Bolin, maybe they've got some trill drums going on in the background as well.
Okay. That seems a very eerily similar sort of group setup over there. Not bad on the ears either.
He is somewhat out of tune. He needs to be an octave lower to really perform in that vocal
Oh, you're
range.
talking about the singer, not the flute player. He seems to be quite in tune.
I do not. I'm not familiar with this instrument.
Just going off what you said there, Marquez, just look at them.
I looked at them.
It's a Klingon,
Mhm.
an Andorian,
Mhm.
a Trill.
Mhm.
It's just us, but better. That's what they are.
I disagree.
Oh, that's what it's going to turn out to be.
I mean, can't be the best at everything.
Wow, that's really optimistic. Thank you for that.
Why do you want me to hype you up? I can hype you up if you want.
I mean,
Don't worry.
lies are so much more comforting than the truth.
You'll be able to get the captain before your cousin Jim does. Is that what you want me to say?
I'm of two minds on this issue.
Precisely. That's why I didn't go down that route, because now you have this like weird conflicted feeling, don't you? So I was basically just brushing it to the side and ignoring it, but you're the one that keeps pulling it up.
Yeah, but the existential crisis distracts me from my jealousy.
So what we have to have some space entity attack the station so you can't feel jealous anymore. Is that what we're saying?
I mean, if you could arrange that, it'd be kind of nice.
I don't know. Q, can you cause some space entity to happen here, please, so my friend can't have to deal with his existential crisis? I mean, that's like praying to God, right?
Well, Q doesn't answer, but the performance does come to an end, and because I find it funny, uh, Jim gets on the microphone and goes, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, you've been a great audience. I want to give a huge shout out to my friends here, McDuff and Lizbeth. I just want to make sure everybody is aware that we will be performing the next couple days here at the lovely, lovely cantina, and just enjoy us while we're here because we got to ship out soon. Thank you, thank you. You've all been great." And Macduff, Lizbeth, and Jim depart the stage. And they start heading in your direction because apparently Jim can see you because of that whole Einar thing. And in fact, he actually holds out a hand and starts waving like, "Hey, it's Shaz. How you doing, Shaz?"
Hey, Jim, it's wonderful to see you again. You know, it's been a long time.
You know, I can still feel the grimace in your words, even though I can't actually see it on your face, right?
Yep,
Cool. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. So,
totally.
what are we eating?
And he's struggling not to say your teeth, but he then just sort of smiles. Well, we were going to go to that Andorian curry place, but you know the station since you've been here. Well, I've been out on an actual starship, you know, exploring the furthest reaches of the known universe. So why don't you tell us what the best restaurant to go to is?
Actually, I was going to suggest the Andorian curry place. I mean, there was that one Earth cheesesteak place, but I hear that they ran out of steak, which seems weird to me. Because we have the whole replicators, and since we can literally create nearly anything possible, but they're out of steak?
Oh, that's a classic 234 replicator problem. That should take like a month to fix. I just start giggling evilly.
You sure they don't like order the real thing and have that transported to the station?
I mean, that's entirely possible. We do check in some literal bovine now and again.
yeah, but that's like limited, like on, you know, actually being flown out here, where replicators, you know, you just order it and it happens. I don't think Starfleet logistics really prioritize, can these guys actually get some bovine meat here over, you know, warp nacelles and other things.
Certainly, that is true of Gach and other similar delicacies of the Klingon Empire.
Yeah, it's not put on their priority list, so it kind of gets filtered down to the bottom. You order it, and it comes in a month later.
Jim just kind of nods along and goes, yeah, I know what you're saying. But, you know, where are my manners? Where are my manners? Let me do introductions. He points to the Klingon behind him and Macbeth. Macduff is maybe about 2 or 3 inches taller than you. And he has shinier hair and just a little bit streaks of gray. So he looks a little bit more distinguished. He points to Macduff and says, "This is my main man, Macduff." And then he points at the Trill, Lizbeth, behind him to his right. And this is my good pal, Lizbeth. We go back a long ways.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Yeah, it's quite a pleasure, says Lizbeth. And then Macduff, in a kind of more gruff tone, almost, I'm not going to be able to do it, but almost like a Barry White Klingon equivalent. It's like, yeah, it's quite a pleasure to meet all of you. It's quite an honor indeed. How did you enjoy our performance?
It's lovely, thank you.
Your vocal range is too shallow. You cannot possibly pull off the intricacies of the kanchak.
Aha,
With-
I see
with
we have a
that.
true aficionado of Klingon opera here. Well done, well done.
Nevertheless, it was a stirring performance, and you should be commended for the attempt.
Strong words. I like you. And he holds out a hand to shake.
And he will, Macbeth will grip by the wrist, and they'll do that sort of warrior's handshake, which isn't really a handshake. It's just two people slamming their wrists together, and I think
Hoping
very
for the
subtly trying to arm wrestle.
Yeah, why don't we
The-
make that
the
a
other-
roll?
Yes, please.
Daring security, difficulty of 1, and it is opposed. In fact, I'll just go ahead and roll here. Let's, you know what? Shits and giggles. I'm going to give him an additional die with threat because it's funny.
I'm going to do the same with momentum then, please, if that's all right.
Sure.
Yep.
Let's expand that 26. Well, I'm going to tell you he has rolled a grand total of 3 successes, so you need 3 or
Nice.
more. Okay, so even better, you've rolled 1 with a complication.
Hey, is it worth blowing your determination to re-roll those 2 dice?
Oh, it so very nearly is, but I'm not going to.
All right.
But doesn't your warrior pride demand it?
Oh, it will
There's-
after this.
there is honor in defeat. I'm
Oh,
going
no,
to-
there isn't.
Well,
There's no honor defeat. What are you talking about?
Look, unless Q's going to service up that space entity, there's no reason to keep your determination.
So here's what happens. Macbeth, you go to handshake McDuff, and you go to test your strength against his, and he overpowers you easily. In fact, you start to give that stronger grip and just a slight twist to your arm. It's like you're touching a mountain. Like, you literally are given no purchase, no movement. This man, this Klingon, is so much better than you. And he knows it, and you know it. And this maybe lasts all of 3 seconds, in which I just imagine a series of emotions come across Macbeth's face before Macduff releases the handle and goes, "Your grip could use some work."
Indeed. And Macbeth is incensed.
It's just a small me just looking at these 2 giants, just like, huh?
Okay. And Sass just kind of like takes a little step towards them. Let's just break the tension here awkwardly and head off towards lunch, right? You
Well,
guys do
before you
lunch?
can say lunch, there's a flash of light and the Q bleep-in noise. As
Wait,
Q
what?
appears in his judge uniform, there's Judge and somebody goes, "Aha! Somebody prayed to me. I heard it, and I'm here to deliver." And he looks across. "Oh, would you look at that? We have 2 little groups of a Klingon, an Andorian, and a Trill. You know what that means? It's time for a game, everybody." Snaps his fingers. There's a flash of light.
I didn't actually mean to do this.
And moments later, all of you are on what appears to be a Earth-style hockey rink. All of you have on ice skates, and all of you are wearing different jerseys. Well, at least 2 teams of jerseys. So, Thane, Macbeth, Bolin, you have a set of jersey, and the other team obviously has theirs. Thane, yours is kind of a white with black stripes, and instead of a emblem of a team, you have the Targ emblem, same as your Targ. In fact, let's just call it the Toby the Targ emblem, because I think that's funny. But on the other team, they are purple and gold, and they have on what appears to be a, how do I put this? Trying to remember, what's the legendary beast from Klingon mythology that was one of the
Feklir?
gods?
Yeah, Bekla?
Yeah, I think they've got like the Hounds of Feklir on as their little mascot thing. And Q appears between the 2 groups and goes, "All right, well, since somebody did ask for my help, I'm here to give you all that spirit of competition that I love seeing in all this little Starfleet ensemble. But let's make things interesting. Let's say that whoever wins this gets one little wish from me."
And Macbeth is just gonna sort of growl under his breath and just sort of look to his side. "Marquise, we will be discussing this in the near
I
future."
didn't realize this actually worked. I thought this was only a thing for captains and above.
"Oh, well, you see, this one here," pointing at Thane, "this one here, one day One day will be. And I think Jim...
As we all just look at him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Jim
just-
calls across the ice, goes, I knew you'd make captain one day. See, there's nothing to worry about.
Shut up, Jim. Okay, now listen. And he starts stalking up towards Q with his hand raised.
Wait,
that
Jim
is like
actually supportive of his
that's a
cousin?
violation of some kind of Q law, right? Isn't it that you can't just tell me my future?
Let me check. And he actually summons up like this really thick rulebook and starts flipping through it. No, actually, quite all right. I can tell you the future as much as I want.
Macbeth just sort of leans over so he can read what's written in the book, and it just says, I can do whatever I want on every page.
Literally, yes. Just line after line. I can do whatever I want.
You are an agent of chaos.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I just caused a little chaos. Oh, wait, you're not talking to me today. All right, cool.
I think you should focus all of your attentions on her because you would get along really well. Don't look at me.
Well, we'll just have to see who's the better Trill, who's the better Klingon, and who's the better Andorian. But let's make this a little more festive. Snaps his fingers, and the stands, which were previously empty, now full of various species cheering and hooting and hollering. It's, and this isn't gonna, well, maybe this is because we've got Canadians in the group. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a hockey game in real life. I don't know if any of you know how rowdy those can get, but it's one of those things where take a sporting event and ramp it up maybe about 250%. That's the level that audience fever is going at right now. And Q transforms from being in his judge outfit to being an ice skating referee, and he conjures up hockey sticks for each of you, hands them out, and says, all right, I want a nice clean game, and by clean game, I want to see some blood. I want to see some teeth. I want to see this pure, utter violence as only Earth barbarism could be.
Okay, none of us are human, but I will do, Mr. Q, man. I salute.
I like this
Macbeth, one. Macbeth is going to hold up his stick and say, this is not sufficient.
What would you like instead? I mean, you have to hit the puck.
I mean, my bat'leth would be ideal.
Well, no, it's like what you were talking about earlier, where you don't aim for the heart, you aim off the side, so it takes longer. You do the same with beating.
I second that if one Klingon has a bat'leth, they both have to have bat'leths.
Ooh, ice skating bat'leth fight. Ooh, I like that idea. Snaps his fingers. The Klingons now have bat'leths.
And Macbeth just turns to Mark. He says, whose side are you on?
Yes.
A point of order, Q. If we do get a penalty, this is not going to be like the other penalty box thing that you used, where if we get a penalty and then somebody else gets a penalty, we get killed.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, you know when you killed Wesley Crusher?
Who cares about Wesley Crusher? Let's be honest.
Well, nobody, but I'm just using it as an example.
Well, just don't get killed. Easy as that.
I do not want to spend my time in the penalty box crying with the captain. Not again.
Wait, what?
It is not
when did
important.
that happen?
It is not important.
Okay.
Now, how does this game work? Do we just hit each other with the sticks and battle until one team is victorious, I presume, yes?
That's what it devolves into.
Well, you see, what you do is you take this puck here, conjures up a puck, and you knock it into your opposing team's goal. And he points out the goals. It's that simple.
Okay.
And this is a challenge.
Oh, yes. Between the ice skating and trying to make sure that you basically body check your opponents. I mean, what's not to love about it?
The fact that this is also anthropocentric and we're none of us human, so...
Well, you know me, I'm Q. I have to do human things. That's what I do.
Could we, order another Q that's not human?
Oh, of course. One moment. Maybe he snaps his fingers and he turns into a green Andorian. Is this better?
Not for me.
What would you like to see?
I mean, I would like to see food. That's where we were heading, correct?
Oh, food does sound lovely. Snaps his fingers and he starts eating a cheesesteak. You know, there's...
That's where all the cheesesteak went.
I don't think that's how it works, Berlin.
He's cute. We could have magicked all of the cheesesteak to his personal condo in the middle of a black hole for all we care.
I think he can just create things with his mind. So
But from what I've read, he would prefer to steal it because then it's more fun. Why have your cheesesteak when you have somebody else's cheesesteak?
Oh, you know, she's got a. I'm really liking this Boleyn person. You know, we got to talk. This is really good.
You're suggesting that rather than conjure something out of nothing, which, from what we understand,
He
Q
can
is
do.
perfectly able to do,
Yeah.
you're suggesting that instead,
Yep.
that cheesesteak belonged to someone else who now
Yep.
does not have a cheesesteak.
Correct.
Also, what is a cheesesteak?
It's a slab of meat which is cooked from either rare to well done and has cheese over the top of it, and then some other things depending on preference.
I'm sure you could eat it raw though if you wanted to.
I mean, it's usually so that you could melt the cheese on it. So you could have it blue, which means it's basically just greeted to the fire. You just put one side on the fire, you flip it over and put it the other side of the fire. You then wave the fire goodbye because you don't need it anymore. And then you just slap cheese over it.
It sounds to me like the person that lost their cheesesteak got the better end of the deal.
I mean, you should give it a go, you know.
Right,
Jim calls across the ice. So are we playing or what?
And we haven't said go yet. The game master's still eating his cheesesteak.
Q finishes up and he kind of does that thing where he puts a finger in his mouth to suck it, you know, get the juice off of it. And he goes, that was really good. All right, well, let's get this show on the road. If I could have one person from each team step up to the line, I'll drop the puck in 3, 2, 1. And then he drops the puck. And who is actually up, getting the puck first? Is it going to be Thane and Jim? Is it Beth and Duff? Is it Lizbeth and Boleyn? Is it a different combination? What are we looking at here?
I think the Andorians are the captains, quite literally in this regard, and potentially in the future. So I think push.
Okay. So he'll step forward to take the face off at center ice, and I presume the Klingons are just sort of like jockeying for position, and normally with the level of violence that they're inflicting on each other, the referee would come to break them up, but probably not in this game.
Probably not, no. All right.
I kind of feel actually, I think Macbeth is going to head for the goal and block the goal. Basically, that's his plan.
Okay.
Being the wider of the three.
I think Duff's going to do likewise. He's going to go to his goal and do the same. Though I do want to again make it very clear: you don't have hockey sticks. You have batlets. I just want to be very clear on that.
You don't want to get too close to the goalie in this game.
All right.
I just like to imagine I'm excitedly circling in the middle of these two.
Okay.
I'm just overly excited for this entire procedure.
Macbeth is going to bang the blunt end of his bat left against the floor and just say, "Death to the opposition."
I mean, it could happen.
It should.
Crowd starts shouting, "Death! Death! Death! Death!" And let's do the face-off. So, Thane, since you're up at bat here, quote unquote, why don't you give me I'll let this be one of two things. This can either be a control and a command if you're trying to psych Jim out, or if you literally want to use your physical prowess, I'll give you a fitness and a con maybe. Or maybe a fitness security. I'll take arguments for either.
So I think I'll go for a control and command. Okay. He is essentially trash-talking his cousin about his inferior Enar heritage, and surely this is going to be an impediment to him.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I'd even give you a focus of composure here because it's funny. Difficulty of 2 on this one.
Okay. So we'll use a focus, and I'll spend that 1 momentum to roll an extra die.
Okay.
Hey, you get
3 successes, you get that momentum right back. All right, well, what that's going to mean is, Thane, you're going to win the face-off there. So what does that look like when you show Jim up exactly?
So I think it's basically he presses his weight forward and spins around so that he almost like backs up into the other player and forward passes the puck towards his defense trill.
Defense troll, the official name of the position.
The defense trail.
We don't want to be anthropocentric here about the defense man here.
Well, defense troll Bolin, you now have the puck. What would you like to do with it?
All right, so I would like to. Well, I will go from quite quickly from defense trill to offensive trill, and start just skating around everyone using that speed and momentum I actually was gaining by spinning around in a circle to launch myself across the ice ring hockey place, whatever it's called, sports name.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is your goal to just go towards the other goal or just to move about the field, as it were?
Move about the field so that the Andorian and Trill on the enemy side start trying to chase me and using up their speed and momentum to try and keep up with me. And the end goal is to pass back to Thane when Thane's gotten into an offensive position.
Okay. All right. Why don't you give me a fitness and a con? Don't think you have a focus, unfortunately. Difficulty of 2 as well, though.
Okay. I really don't have focuses for this sort of thing.
No, you really don't.
I'm not designed for this. So I'm going to activate my joint trail heritage for the secret ambassador person as for tactics, because I'm going this for more of a logical point of view rather than physical fitness. So can I blog insight because I'm trying to figure out the enemy people rather than try to outpace them?
All out, sure.
It's only like 1 bonus, so just trying to squeeze every single advantage I have.
Mm-hmm.
I will also spend that momentum, and hopefully I will roll well.
Dice roll succeeded. You got the 2 you need, so that's important. So yeah, Bolin, you're doing circles. You got Jim, and what was that for? Untapped potential.
Untapped potential.
Yep. Okay, so you actually do get 2 momentum off that. Good call.
Nice.
Bolin, roll yours as well, because I think you have it as well, don't you?
No, I took maintenance specialist to represent my untapped potential because it's only really good to do in maintenance.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, you're up 2 momentum. And so, yeah, Bolin, you're doing circles. Jim and Lizbeth are chasing you around best they can. Thane, I'm assuming you get into an advantageous passing position, but technically you could do whatever you want, so...
Yeah, so seeing that the 2 players have started, like fools, puck watching and going to where the puck is rather than where the puck will be, he's going to try to get himself open near the far face-off dot.
Okay. And again, you can tell that I am picking on Matthew because he's Canadian, clearly, because he knows this sport. I only know it a little bit. All right.
And you're picking on me on being because we have no idea how to play hockey.
No.
Well, that's appropriate.
That's on it. Yeah, honestly,
the Andorian from the ice world has a vague idea of what skating entails and understands he has to put the puck in the net. And the Klingon and the Trill are lost. So
yeah. All right. Trying to think how I want to do this. All right. So between Bolin and Thane, I'm gonna let you decide who's doing the main role. But this is going to be a control or daring plus con here. The difficulty will be a 3.
All right. I wish to assist because the way I wish to assist is a bit risky. I wish to cannonball into the goalie.
Okay.
So,
the goalie holding a bat left.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm perfectly fine. Perfectly same maneuvers.
Well, we'll see what the dice say, but...
And I'll use a daring plus con because this is all about proper positioning, orientation, and timing, which is apropos for flying, basically. Sure.
And can I justify small craft because I wish to become one?
No.
I will spend 1 momentum to roll an additional die.
All right. Well, there's 2 successes. Need 1 more. Hey. There you go. You get the 1 more. So if I understand correctly, and feel free to correct me, Bolin, you basically slam into. Ooh, I get a threat. You basically slam into Macduff and
Yeah.
send Macduff away from the goal. Right as you pass the puck to Thane. Thane, you have an open goal that you can take a shot at.
Yeah, and pretty much as it enters into his wheelhouse, which is the ideal position for the puck to make that shot, he'll just take a quick snapshot into the net.
All right, into the net. And of course, same thing that happens at all hockey games. Little big red siren goes off. You know, the whole stadium erupts in cheers and jeers and everything in between. And Q, who's still doing, his referee gig, goes, well done, well done. I think I'm actually supposed to yell at you for body checking the Klingon, but you know what? I like this. This game is interesting. I should do more of this. I should have done more of this.
As I just start circling the ring again.
Macbeth is just holding his bat lip up and just, yes! This means we win, yes?
Well, no, it's best of 3.
Oh. I don't remember you saying that originally.
I just made it up.
Of course.
So rules changing on the fly help us and hurt us. That everything balances out. Great.
You're right. I should make this more difficult. Let's do this. He snaps his fingers, and the crowd, and this is definitely a Michigan thing, the crowd begin throwing things onto the ring. They're basically throwing squid, just squid and other cetaceans, dead cetaceans onto the ring.
This is a thing that happens.
That's a Michigan thing?
Wait, no, it's a real thing that happens at hockey games. I'm not kidding.
Why squid?
One team.
I have questions.
They also use rats, but not real rats, stuffed rats.
So they throw actual real squid and stuffed rats onto the ring pitch thing.
Just for 2 teams.
The icy ring.
The Detroit Red Wings and the Florida Panthers. There you go.
Neither of those things are rats or squid.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
You're not human, you wouldn't understand.
I don't think the
No one
humans
does.
understand.
Oh, okay. So, rink is covered in squid.
Rink is covered in squid. And what that's going to mean mechanically is the complication range of all actions is now 18 to 20.
Yeah, what a lovely odor now pervades the entire field.
All right, so face-off time again. Is it going to be Thane and Jim again, or is it going to be Bolin and Lisbeth, or are the Klingons going to come up, maybe?
Just looks back to his team.
I mean, we
Gestures
can
over towards
alternate it. Like, one of us does face-off, one of us does goalie, since, just to make sure that everybody gets a go at this sport game.
Right. Thane will skate back towards the goal and sort of tap the pad or the shin of Macbeth as he's going by.
And Macbeth will look horribly offended at this.
What?
What is the meaning of this?
Macbeth,
It's like
you're the one in
kudos.
front.
I think you're going to need this. You're going to have to, because you can't win a face-off with a batleth.
You have not seen me use a batleth.
I believe
This could take someone's face off.
That is true. I'll give you that. I can see the argument.
The edge is razor sharp. It would be a child's play almost.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it is your surgical batleth, so it's razor sharp.
Wait, no, this is his hockey backlift.
They're all the same batleth.
Are you sure about that?
It looks sort of inquisitively at Macbeth.
And Macbeth just stoically turns and moves to where Bolin is.
No, you have to be in the little circle in the center so you can get.
I thought we were all switching positions.
Oh, do you want? Okay, I circle up to the ring.
Remember, you are small. Attack their feet.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So face off will be another either a control and command if you're psyching at your opponent, or if you want to go for actually like physically winning the drop, it's going to be a daring and either security or a con.
I'll go for-
Difficulty will be opposed.
Okay. I'm going to spend a momentum.
And I think I'm going to spend a threat because it's interesting.
Fair. Unless I can block
Yes.
tactics from my joint childness, I don't think I got any focuses.
Well, what I would tell you is that you just need to beat a difficulty of 1 because they rolled like crap.
Okay.
All right, well, that's all you
Hey.
needed. So yeah, Boleyn, you again win the face-off. What does that look like?
So what I do is I go question mark for the puck, but actually I'm just like push the right foot away of the opponent, so they like get shoved back, and then squirt. Well, I hit a squid along the way. I hit the puck back to Macbeth. So copying what Thane did earlier when he won the face-off.
Okay, Macbeth, you now have the puck with your batleth? Question mark.
I think as the puck is sliding towards him, Macbeth is just going to just tee up and swing as hard as he possibly can, and just try and smash it down the other end of the down the other end of the rink towards the goal.
Can you like take up some ice as well so it adds to the
projectile? Yeah, no, it absolutely gouges this huge amount of ice out of the rink as he does this.
Okay.
Which may go horribly wrong.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. Why don't we do a control security, because this is technically a ranged attack. Difficulty originally of 2. I'm going to spend some threat here to make this a little bit more interesting. It will be now a difficulty of 3, and your complication range is now 16 to 20.
Oh,
I don't have any momentum.
Just spend threat. Just spend threat. Spend 3 threat. He spent 3 threat. You spent 3 threat. It's fine.
Sure. Can I do that?
Yeah, if you want.
So that gets me 2 dice?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I don't really think I've got a focus that applies.
Do you have anything to do with like melee weapons?
No.
Oh. Nani? I thought you did.
Right? Should maybe look at that. I've got a focus in botany, but that's not going to help. Unless I'm using it much as I would use my small batleth. The motion is very similar. Even if the end result isn't.
Nice try.
I'm going to take that as a no.
I mean, it sounds very reasonable to me.
If you will accept a complication range of 15 to 20, I will allow it.
What could go wrong?
What does that make my range on Boundary? Sorry.
I think you put 6. I think.
You know what? Why not?
Right.
Yay!
We have fun here.
Here we go.
There you go. All right. So you do get 2 momentum back for your troubles, but there's a complication. So here's what happens. You go for the golf swing with your batleth, right? And if this were a bonsai tree, this would be a masterful slice. And in fact, the puck does go flying with a chunk of ice still attached to it. And it does head towards the goal, the enemy's goal. But here's what happens. Boleyn, you're sort of skating along, having a good time. Pings off your head, pings off of Lisbeth's head, pings off of the side of the goal, and then into the body of Jim, who has switched places with his McDuff. And thanks to Jim's angle, the puck does go into the goal. But Boleyn, Lisbeth, and Jim are all going to take 3 stress damage from the impact.
Oh.
I'll take it. That works.
No, like, I should really like reload that complication. No, I just took out 3 people with 1 puck. Let's go.
Yeah, that was a warrior slice.
Mm-hmm. And again, the sirens go off, the whole arena erupts, and Q goes, well done, well done. Well, you know what? Like I said, best of 3, and you just won 2, so that's it for me. And then he kind of leans into Boleyn, who, still kind of like dazed on the ice. And little one, if you ever ever want to call me again, I might actually listen.
I do a weak thumbs up as like I'm just concussed on the floor.
And then Q snaps his fingers, and you're back in the cantina. Nobody seems to have noticed you leaving or coming and going, but they are
It's
kind of
just
curious why Bolin is on the floor.
is the two children just like on the floor next to each other, just like bleh.
Pretty much, yeah.
Macbeth is going to move over and help Bolin up. Maybe pull out a medical tricorder and just sort of give a quick scan. Like, you deflected that projectile admirably.
Thanks.
It was key to our victory. You should be proud.
Yeah. Just this like weak thumbs up while I'm still like concussed and dazed.
There is good news. You are only slightly concussed.
Okay, cool. I can stop hamming it up, apparently.
I may have to look into this hockey game on the holodeck.
I don't think that was regulation.
A pity. Nonetheless, it seems invigorating.
Well, that was an experience. You okay there, Thane?
Yeah, it was just very surreal. And we won, which is more surreal. It's the first time that I've ever won anything relative to my cousin.
And I think Jim's actually a good sport about it. He kind of does that brotherly / familial thing where he kind of claps you on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, you know what? We got to celebrate this thing. Tell you what, let's upgrade from Andorian curry to that nice Betazoid place up on the third ring."
Oh yes, I hear they give you your order before you've even thought of it.
Yeah, isn't that kind of cool?
Oh no, they're about to give us. I just look at my choke one, but they're about to give us 6 orders, aren't they?
You're taking this well?
And find out.
Okay.
You lost. How's that not getting to you?
I mean, yeah, I'm a little sore that we lost, but we just had a Q moment. Do you know how many people in their career get to have a Q moment?
I think only like 6 ships have ever really been contacted by Q.
Yeah, that makes it super exclusive, and we both had one.
I pat myself down. Do I have a Q calling card on me?
You do. It's literally just a black calling card with a red Q on it. Nothing else. Just literally one side red Q, other side blank.
Is this like a signature? Did I get his signature?
You might want to hang on to that for another one of those moments when we're falling into a black hole or something.
I am failing to see how Q would help us in that situation.
Well, when you're about to be consumed by a black hole, I don't think that there's anything in the universe that can make that worse.
I see. So you plan to test that theory?
No, but with our track record, right, it's going to happen.
I mean, we've already fallen into a black hole once and survived, so...
Well, there's always a next time.
Yes. So anyway, food. I'm hungry. And
wait a sec, cousin. Hold on. Did I hear that right? You've been in a black hole?
And he reciprocates that gesture of like really awkwardly and overly forcefully slapping him on between the shoulder blades, and starts directing him towards that Beta Z restaurant. Oh, do I have stories to tell you?
We've also been in a battle, and we used the warp core as a depth charge, and I just start reminiscing about our things in a very sort of like incoherent manner, which doesn't make any sense because I'll jump between the different stories.
I like it. So sort of set the next scene up. The Betazoid restaurant is actually kind of interesting where you walk up and the server's already handing you your meal. And it's literally whatever you wanted. It's just, you didn't even have to say anything. They're just like, here you go. But as Bolin and Macbeth and Thane, as you're recounting your stories, what you notice is that Jim, Macduff, and Lisbeth are all kind of hanging on every word, as if, this is a great treat to hear these stories. And I think to put kind of a pin on it, when you finish up your latest tale, Jim kind of, takes a long drink and goes, Man, if I'm being gonna be honest with you, cousin, I thought I had it pretty good with how I had things here on Starbase 261. But I now see that I've missed a lot actually being out in the stars.
Well, no, you're still getting all those accolades for the research that you've been doing, right? You
I
can't do that on a
mean,
starship. You don't have the facilities for it.
well, here's
Besides
the
for a
thing.
very select few, but they don't go too far out of Federation space.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, yeah, I'm a great xenoanthropologist. I'll try to be a little bit humble about that, but all I do is just look at the things people bring me. I don't actually go out into the field because I'm too valuable. Um, if anything, I'm not doing the actual discovering. I'm just going, oh, this is what you discovered. It's not that glamorous, all things considered.
Well, I mean, think about it like this: Cisco, when he was working, on a station, developed the USS Defiant, right?
Because he had
So,
time to do so.
yeah, you can do great things from behind the lines and on a starbase.
Well, this might just be the drink talking, but I don't know. I mean, our family. They like to hoist me up as the golden child of the family, but I'm gonna be
Well, I know
honest with
that
you.
feeling.
I uh I worry about the legacy I'm gonna leave.
Well, that's funny because I'm out there and I don't worry about the legacy that I'm going to leave. So, hey, that's, you know, par for the course for the two of us.
I mean, again, to be honest, I think you're gonna hit captain way before I do. I mean,
Look, we were getting along really well, and then you had to go and say something that insulting. That's a
oh
low
no,
blow.
I don't mean it as an insult. I mean genuinely. You seem to have the marks of a good captain.
He's really conflicted about it.
Why do
And yet
people
this
keep saying that?
and yet this is I can tell this is oddly cathartic for him.
Do it again. He does the twinge.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, I guess, sort of. But your other friends here and Macbeth and Bolin, what are your plans for the future that you actually want to realize and don't have forced on you because your family demands it?
Yeah. I just want to explore the stars.
The
Which-
demands of my family are of no consequence.
Hey,
Yeah.
he reaches up for a fist bump.
And
He's,
smashes.
oh God, I think you broke my hand. Why would you?
That is not broken.
Well, can you tell just by looking at it? Where's your tricorder? It really feels like it's broken.
I will turn to Jim and go, hey,
Very
Jim,
well.
sometimes when your family puts high expectations on you, just do your own thing.
It is not broken. It is only minorly fractured.
Yeah.
That counts as being broken.
No, it counts as being fractured.
I think you might be onto something, Bolin. I think both Thane and I we could learn a thing from Macbeth here. But go on, Macduff, say what you wanted to say. He kind of ribs Macduff, and Macduff kind of not sheepishly, but kind of like hesitant says, this might come as a small shock to you, Macbeth, but I noticed your technique on the ice. Very admirable technique. But am I correct in assuming that it came from your art in botany?
You have a warrior's eye.
I
Or
do.
more precisely, a botanist. I am impressed that you would notice such a thing.
And he pulls out his data pad, and he shows you an image of his bonsai tree. It is not as glorious.
That is very impressive. And he gives him a reassuring pat on the shoulder.
I was actually hoping you might tell me, you see this part of the tree here? I've been having difficulty keeping it under control.
I see, yes. And I believe you are using an incorrect technique. Are you using a bat'leth?
I'm using a small dictag.
No. a dig tag is not suitable for this level of this type of tree. No, you must be using a smaller bat'leth.
I always use a plasma screwdriver.
No.
That would be utterly dishonorable, I think.
Oh, you would set the tree on fire. What are you thinking?
Menacing grin.
Do not listen to them. They do not understand. They are not Klingon.
They are not exactly. They are not Klingon. I say that all the time.
As do I, and they never listen.
All right, so you keep exchanging your botany. Then between Lisbeth and Boleyn, I think Lisbeth. I never described Lisbeth, but Lisbeth is also smallish, and kind of has long blonde hair. And she kind of looks over at Boleyn and goes, "So, does this happen often with your group, where the two big ones just kind of keep talking to one another, and the other big ones, and we're just kind of left out?"
I mean, sometimes happens, but also I like to jab them in the side occasionally and get like the scrimmage off them. It's quite enjoyable, actually.
I mean, do you want to do that now? I mean, I'll take
Yes.
that one. Okay. You start needling everybody, just start poking each other. But yeah, towards the end of it, the lunch/dinner goes very well. Jim actually does end up paying for it. Oh, did you have something, Matthew?
No, go ahead.
Okay, just want to make sure. Jim ends up paying for it, but again, it's not that much. It's easily covered. And then as you all are filtering out of the restaurant, there's kind of one of those moments where you've been hanging out with a friend group and you're not sure who wants to say bye first. And I think Jim, unless you want to beat him to it, Chaz, Jim is going to beat you to the punch and kind of hold out a hand and goes, to better relations in the future. I think we can make this a fresh start.
He contemplates the hand just for a moment, then reaches out, and instead of going for the hand, he goes for the wrist in one of those classic Klingon handshakes. Mm-hmm. And so they just sort of like grab each other by the forearm. Mm-hmm. That handshake thing is just way too human.
Agreed. We should do it more like Andorians sometimes.
Then he lets go.
Yeah. And then Macduff offers a warrior's grip to Macbeth if he'll have it.
Yeah, he'll take that and he will say, Kapla.
Kapla, die well.
And you. And keep in touch about your botany. I am intrigued to see what you do with it.
I will. Thank you for the pointers. Oh, why are you poking me, Lisbeth? This is not honorable. I am having a moment with this other Klingon. I know that's what makes it fun.
Marquis, I have told you about this.
Told me about what? Poke. Just leave at the side. You've poked the bear enough. It's time to leave.
All right. So what might be the last big scene of the evening, depending on how far we play here. All of you are back aboard the USS Baja. It is now your duty shift, so you're moving crates from point A to point B at this point. And I just wanted to give you that moment of introspection between the group before we sort of ended the scene. But I'm going to let you guys role play for a little bit.
So they were nice.
I mean, nicer than my cousin has been in the past. Sure. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
I maintain that his rendition of Govot Tora was severely lacking. It is ambitious for a tenor to attempt such a difficult piece. Nevertheless, he was honorable in defeat and not entirely unpleasant to talk to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And my counterpart gave me all of these pranks. I mean, diagrams and stuff I can do in the future.
Goody. Looking at them, since they were so similar to us, it kind of gets you thinking about the path not taken, right?
I'd rather not think about that, but yeah, sure.
Like that Julian Bashir thing. I think we were talking about him earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
He could have chosen to go onto the Sutherland or the Deep Space Nine. Chose Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't believe
mean,
any of us chose this posting, however.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, there are choices you make in your life, and they lead you down one path or the other path, and then sometimes you stop, look back, and wonder what would have happened if you'd gone down another way.
I mean, I've had one of those in the past, but
Kind of like every day, really, you choose to go down one path or the other.
I'm sure that you're building to a point here.
No, I absolutely wasn't building to any kind of point. I'm just like randomly filling the awkward silences of this moment as we're moving
right.
boxes. I mean,
So
do you want to just be alone with your thoughts?
Great. Yes. You're not probing. That's great.
I mean, I didn't feel that the silence was particularly awkward.
Okay, well, it was probably just me because I'm having some kind of existential crisis, which I think is just persistent now. That's just my state of being. But
would you like to talk about your feelings?
No.
Are you
Wait,
sure?
are you getting counselor mode on us?
No.
You sure about that? Because that's usually what the counselors say when they get that look in their eyes and like, I need to help with your deep-seated problems and get you to open up about stuff. And I feel like I need to distract you.
You're going to use one of your pranks, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're using the wrong terminology.
Now you are the one that sounds like a counselor.
I'm no, what I'm saying is that you're saying that I will perform one of my pranks. But that's the wrong, terminology when it comes to, space time, because it's already happening.
Oh, so you subscribe to like a B theory of the universe wherein all times are occurring concurrently?
Oh no, I'm doing the prank right now.
Just
don't open. Just be careful when you open your, jaw next.
Is the prank that there's actually nothing in my drawer and you're just trying to leave me horribly paranoid?
We'll never know.
If my bonsai has been in any way damaged.
Oh, you wound me. I would never hurt your bonsai.
I sense a butt coming.
Like I said, I would never hurt your bonsai.
Would your targ hurt his bonsai?
Oh, that would be dishonorable.
Indeed.
Just be careful how you open your drawer.
Look, we can teleport or transport the bonsai out of your drawer.
Yes, that would be very careful for you to do and definitely not related to my prank at all since I spend most of my shifts at the teleporter.
It would be incredibly easy for me to open this crate and stuff you inside it, Bolin.
And then you'll never know how to get your bonsai out of the drawer.
So it is in the drawer.
It is in the drawer. Just not the drawer you're thinking about.
And Macbeth opens the lid of the crate.
I was waiting for someone to open the crate because this is where the real prank is I dump all my threat. Inside is an adorable white creature that looks kind of like a little seal thing. And it looks up to you and goes, "Oopsie."
And Macbeth
this is not me.
Is going to very carefully and slowly put the lid back on.
You hear a thump as Moopsie tries to hit the lid.
I believe it is time for us to run.
Why?
What is that? I opened the lid.
Macbeth's already gone.
Huh.
What is this? Strange. Hello?
So the Moopsie jumps out of the crate and some random ensign walking by gets slurped by the Moopsie, like literally like a juice box. Just Moopsie leaps out, stuffed like a stuffed creature, latches onto an ensign's neck, and just slurps him like a jukebox.
Security emergency to cargo bay 2. Medical
Fane's booking it towards the door.
And I think that's where we're going to end our episode today. It's a little bit of a shorter episode, but it's important that we had it happen all the same.
What is that hell creature?
Oh, the funny thing is that Bean actually hasn't seen the newest Lower Deck, so he actually doesn't know what Moopsie is.
It's a boopsie. I'm afraid. I have
You
one
should
emotion
be.
right now.
You really should be. Oh, but yeah, I think that went great after being off for 3-4 weeks. I thought we got back into form very quickly. That was a treat. What'd you think of
I
the
agree.
hockey thing? I had rules for hockey of all games.
I enjoyed it. When I all right. My speech was not prepped in any way. I was just joking when I said Q would pop up, and apparently Q was destined to pop up today. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, if you didn't call on Q, what I was going to do is I was going to have Jim suggest a holodeck adventure, and then the computer would have just generated the hockey ring. But I thought Q was a little bit more interesting.
Oh yeah, seamlessly integrated. Well done.
Yep. Yep. Great callback to that comment.
Mm-hmm.
No, really enjoyed it. Have no idea how to play hockey or anything about it.
Oh, no,
I'm
we
going to
do.
be looking up. I'm going to be looking up that squid and rat thing.
It's real. We're not pulling your leg. It is real.
Mm-hmm.
We learned how to do it. You use a bat left to launch the ice at your enemies, and also you can just launch yourself at the other players. It's perfectly legal.
Well, pretty much, other than the goaltender, yes.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
I mean, not from behind, but otherwise.
Wait, has anybody used the squids as projectiles?
Yes, actually, I think.
That was actually my plan if he was going for another round to launch squid at people.
Oh, Lord. Well, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.